Now, I know we've been building and using AI from scratch, but there's tools already out there that do a lot of this stuff for us, and we just need to use those and implement that into Bubble. So I'm sorry if you just wanted to get to this part, but you need to understand the foundations, how to work with APIs to really be a proficient developer using no code and low code. But nonetheless, let's use some pre-built tools, see what there is and what they offer. So the first one we're going to take a look at is chatbase.co. Just go to chatbase.co and you'll sign up for an account and you'll get to a page where you can create a chatbot. And so what's going to happen here? Well, on a lot of websites, you see that bubble on the lower right-hand corner of your screen that is a chatbot. And up until now, they've just been automated messages, but now AI is around. They're a lot more responsive and a lot more detailed and personal in their replies. For instance, we're going to build something like this where we have this in our native Bubble app, and it looks like it's native to our application, but we build it in Chatbase. So we're going to have something that looks exactly like this, but over in our Bubble editor. Now, I'm just here on a blank canvas, but just imagine this is our landing page. Let's go back and build this chatbot and see what we're able to do. The first thing it's going to ask for is data sources. So it's saying add your data sources to train your chatbot. Now, in the previous lessons, we used embeddings and we stored that data in a Pinecone vector database, and that's how we trained our chatbot. Well, they're essentially going to be doing the same thing, but just doing it all for us. They're going to be doing the heavy lifting. Now, we can also train our model here on files. So you can upload PDFs, Excel docs, text files, and then you can add your own text. You can add website URLs and train the chatbot on that. There's a bunch of different things and ways you can train your chatbot on, and it accepts all these different data sources. Let's do websites. We've done text and file stuff. Let's go ahead and do a website train. So what's going to happen here is we're going to enter a URL, and it's going to scrape everything on that page and train our chatbot on it. So let's go to Airbnb. I have Airbnb specifically in Scottsdale, Arizona. Let's take that URL, and we're going to paste it over in our URL fetcher here. So let's fetch the link, and it's going to take a second to load. But once it does, it's essentially going to take all the information on this web page, store it in some type of vector database in the back end. We don't know how it works, and again, we don't really care. As long as it works, we're going to upload the URL. It's going to train the chatbot like it did. So it detected 78,000 characters, and we're going to create our chatbot based on that. So this will train it, and now we have this little preview section here. This is where we can play around with how our chatbot works as is. But before we do that, let's hop up here to our nav bar and go through these. So we have settings, and this is where you're going to spend probably a majority of your time here. This is where you're going to configure how your chatbot looks and the model it uses and the instructions. So right here, you have the default instruction it gives. I want you to act as a support agent. Your name is AI assistant. You will provide me with answers from the given info, et cetera, et cetera. You can make this whatever you want. Say, for example, you are a travel agent. Please find me places to stay and give property info about each place. Great. So we have something like that. We can train the model. So we could use, well, we can't because we're not paying for it, but you could use 3.5, 4 turbo, or 4. And then, of course, we can change our temperature. Now, again, temperature is how creative you want the AI model to respond. And it says that right here. Reserved means it's going to stick to the script. It's not going to get creative. It's just going to answer based off the trained data. And if we move this all the way up to creative, it's going to go nuts. We don't know what it's going to respond with. It has a mind of its own at that point. I typically like to go around 0.5, 0.6, just to give it a more natural and personal feel. So we can go ahead and save that. Next thing you'll have is your chat interface. So right now, this is what it looks like. Pretty boring. And you're probably wondering right away, I just want to address powered by Chatbase. Usually all these chatbot builders are going to have that unless you pay to get rid of that, which is kind of annoying. You don't really want that on your website when it says powered by some other application. No, you want it to make it feel native to your own app. So get rid of that and pay whatever the subscription is just to get rid of that. But we come here, it says, what is your initial message? We're just going to say, hi, where are you looking to stay? So where are you looking to stay? And then we can have a suggested message. So let's say I'm looking for a 2-bed, 2-bath with a pool. Great. So then they could just click on that and it automatically triggers that as a user input, and then the response will get generated. Now, of course, they can type in whatever they want. This is just to give them an idea of how to interact with your chatbot. Then we have message placeholder, our theme, which right now is light. Let's make it dark. You can add a profile picture, the display name. So we can just do low code course. And then that pops up right up here. So, okay, we're getting a little more customized. I don't like blue. Let's do some type of orange. Great, looks good. Then we could have, of course, a chat icon. Let's just upload a random image. We'll do the labs logo, attach image. And that's just what's going to display. You'd probably want to either put your face on there or some other little avatar that makes it look a lot better. This is what's going to be displaying in your bottom right. So again, this could be your actual logo, whatever you want it to be, but just know that you have that feature. Then we have where you want to align the chat button. So is it the bottom right or the bottom left? So we'll just keep it as the bottom right, and we should be good to go there. Let's go ahead and save. Now we can go to dashboard. You can see that it stores chat logs. So whenever people interact with it, you can see what they're entering, that sort of thing. We can retrain, of course, the model that we just made. So if we want to add text files, PDFs, etc., you can add multiple different data sources and train it on that. Now let's go to embed on our website. So we're going to make this public. And now you see a bunch of code. Now we haven't really covered this type of code, but it's going to be really easy to do. What we want to do is copy this script. Now in Bubble, we have a really cool component here called HTML. And in HTML, you're allowed to post scripts. So if we get rid of that and we post a script and just click off of it, you can see our chat button appears right there. Now that we have that, let's go over and preview and see how it behaves. Now notice it's in the bottom right of your corner. When I hover over it, it says that initial message, hi, what type of place are you looking for? And we can click it and open up our interface. So just imagine you have your landing page, and then you have that icon in the bottom right that looks native to your application. Users can click on it, and you have a trained chatbot, and that took us basically no time to build. Super cool and convenient how easy these are to set up. Let's see how it works. Say we click on that. I'm looking for a 2-bed, 2-bath with a pool, and then it gives me some options. So look at that. It gives me a few options and the name of it. So guest suite in Cave Creek, this 2-acre ranch located just a mile north of town, 2-bed, 2-bath, stunning view. The property also has soft water and carbon filtration system. Average rating is a 4.85 out of 5. That is just so cool that we're able to do that. Let's go actually add something to our instructions though. Let's go to model or chat interface or model, wherever it is. And let's add our instructions. I want to change something. I want to add, please also provide a link to that property. Now let's see if this works. So let's go ahead and save this. Let's go back and refresh. And I want to do the same thing. So we'll close this out. Let's start a new one, see if we can refresh. Now that it's been cleared out, let's try that again. So we'll give it the same prompt, and look at that. It kind of restructures how it looks, and it looks a whole lot better than it did. You can see that it actually gives the property, the location, the description, then the price per night, the rating, and then a link. Now I noticed this link just goes to airbnb.com/homes, but you could probably get it to go to the specific property if you go back and reconfigure how your model is trained and make sure that it includes all the information that you need. So super cool that we're able to set something up like this. Again, you can train it on anything you want. You just have to get creative on how you want it to operate. Now, these are just one of the tools we're going to check out. We're going to check out a few more, but I just want to introduce to you other ways of building chatbots and working with AI in general, because we don't always have to start from scratch, although it is important to know how they all work so you can really go out there and build some cool stuff. Of course, when we have pre-built options though, to help us speed up development, we are going to want to use those. And that's why I want to introduce to you some of these different applications that we can use to our advantage. So stick around and I'm going to show you a few more.